Hi everybody, Donkey Sean Jr. here. Apparently I've turned into a reaction YouTuber because I just feel like lately I have a lot to say. So I've started this kind of joke reaction video series called DonkThoughts. This is kind of a long one, so I apologize if it starts off on an odd foot, but this Saturday I had a chance to visit the Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum for the fourth time in Las Vegas, Nevada. But this one was a little bit special. I was able to get into a flashlight tour, which is a 90-minute tour of the entire museum. You're completely on your own. You can visit and look at whatever exhibits you want. You can spend all your time in there. There's no electricity on in the building outside of the security cameras, so there's no music, there's no lights, there's no additional things. You're given some ghost hunting equipment, an EMF reader, and a spirit box, and you're basically left to your own devices. You can spend all the time you want inside of the exhibits. You can ask questions to anything in the place. You can wander in any room that you want. It is in groups of about 20, so you do have to be a little bit conscious of, like, when a door is closed, it means that there's someone in there investigating, so you want to wait and spend some time outside before you go in. And yeah, it's if you know anything about me, you know that I'm very interested in the paranormal. I believe I own a device that has some paranormal things happen when I use it. I have been to the Bagan's Museum several times. This was my fourth, like I mentioned, and it was something I was really looking forward to because not that I like being scared, but I just like having answers and seeing if things happened. And things definitely happened. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it and do a little review of the product, because it is a $200 investment, and some people were curious about it and wanted to know my thoughts. So I figured the easiest way to do it is to make a video. Unfortunately, one of the things that you'll notice in this video is there isn't very much in the way of video footage that I shot. I'm going to try to post a couple pictures of the museum, like over here, and like some video footage of the Ghost Adventures episodes. If you're not familiar, Zach is the owner of the museum. He's also the lead on the show Ghost Adventures, so he's done TV shows inside of the museum already. That's one of the very few drawbacks that I experienced with the Haunted Flashlight Ghost Tour, was that there is absolutely no video, no photos. You can't even you can leave it on, but they literally tell you to turn all your electronic devices off. They do not allow videotaping whatsoever inside of the museum, which I understand, but you know, it would be cool to show off like some of the evidence, like the EMF reader going off, which it did several times, or when we would catch things on the spirit box. I very much understand it. It's not anything malicious or, you know, crappy, but it was something I was mildly disappointed in. We arrived to the museum, they gave us the equipment, showed us how to use it, walked us inside the museum, and we were left to our own devices. I'm with my buddy Ramuncho, part of the Broccoli Beef Ghost Hunting crew, and we immediately headed to the Haunted Dolls room. I was told by one of the security guards to go there first because no one goes there, and it's definitely a hotbed for activity. So we walked in. Now, before I jump into what I learned about, I will tell you that the TLDR version of this is, if you're into the paranormal and you have the money to spare, 10 out of 10. It was an amazing night. I feel almost like it was a life-changing event for me, because I experienced some things that I can't explain. I'm not here to tell you whether ghosts are real or if any of that stuff is accurate or if anything like that, but I can tell you that I experienced some crap that I'm never going to be able to explain. So the first thing I did was we headed to the Haunted Dolls room. I held the EMF reader up to, I believe her name is Gretchen, which is one of the more famous ghosts, and immediately the EMF reader goes off. Now, again, I'm not telling you that's evidence of the thing's possessed and it was evil or whatever, but nothing else in that room set that off. I held it up to the flashlight that we were given. We get to keep the flashlights, you know, Harbor Freight's finest. I couldn't get it to go off by shaking the EMF reader, by tapping it. It just did not go above 1. As soon as I brought it in that room, it was at 3. Ramuncho ran the spirit box most of the night because he's had a spirit box for a while and he knows how it works. And Yeah, we were getting words all night. Phrases, sentences. Some of the stuff didn't make any sense. Some of it was direct responses to what we were asking. And it was very intense throughout the whole night. Just to run down, I won't run down the entire tour and every single room in the house, because I think that if you're a person that's interested in going, having everything spelled out for you is kind of a drawback, and it's cooler to have some things left to mystery. So I'll just mention the places where we found evidence. Another place we stopped was the Jack Kevorkian van. He actually has the entire van inside of the museum that Jack Kevorkian used for providing assisted suicide to several hundred, like I think 100 some odd people. There's a piece of equipment already in there, and the minute we walked in, we started saying the names of the people that were in that were killed in the van, and lo and behold, the Mel meter went off immediately. We didn't get any other evidence like that. We thought we had gotten a couple of vocal responses, but they were pretty brief. That was very unnerving, I guess, and I definitely got a very weird feeling in that room, like something was kind of there, and it was almost a little sad. We had definitely had a weird experience in the Titanic room. That's a room where they have some relics from the Titanic, as well as some memorabilia from the Natalie Wood boat. That was the boat that Natalie Wood was killed on, or died on, I guess, because they never proved that she was killed, but I mean, let's be real. We were talking to Captain Smith, who was the captain of the Titanic, and we asked to give it a sign, and we got a very loud, very clear bang. I mean, it was like, it was right on cue, and it was loud. It was not like a tap or anything like that. It was very pronounced. We did go to the Peggy room. We didn't really get a ton of evidence other than we asked Peggy if she wanted us to leave, and we heard a woman's voice say yes. I'm kind of disappointed in that, because I was really hoping to have a cool conversation with Peggy. If you're not familiar with Peggy, she's a haunted doll, and very negatively inhabited, I guess, or possessed, if you believe in it. We actually even got some EMF evidence in the Dybbuk box room. Now, the Dybbuk box is controversial because a lot of people have stated that the Dybbuk box is fake, that it's not real, that Zach bought a hoax. But I will tell you, we were in the room and the EMF reader was going off the whole time we were in there. Very, very strange. Especially towards the back of the box. We were back by one of the windows. It would get to a 3 or 4. I'd walk away. Nothing would happen. I'd come back and it would start up again. Again, not here to tell you what's real, what's not. What I can tell you is what we experienced. I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out because there was so much shit that went on that night that it was like hard to keep track of things. We were in the room. I never remember the guy's name, but he was the one of the serial killers that Zach bought a lot of his memorabilia from. We asked if we were talking to him the name of one of his victims, and we did get a yes on the spirit box. We asked if it wanted us it wanted to say anything to us. We didn't get any response from that. We asked if it wanted us to leave it alone, and we got another yes. That seems to have been the theme for the night. Like, nobody really wanted to chat with us, which I don't get, because I'm like a pretty personable guy. I mean, I got these sick ass t-shirts, and I'm just a happy-go-lucky dude. I'm trying to think what else, if we got anything before I talk about the big moment. So I'll just jump to it. So we're in the room with the Demon House stairs, and if you're not familiar with the Demon House stairs, go watch the documentary. You'll understand it. It's too long for me to explain, but it's pieces of a house that were one of the most possessed things that are possessed objects that are in the museum. And Moonty and I are leaning over into the museum piece. If you've ever seen it, there's like a pretty high up wooden wall. And I was leaning over with the EMF to see if I could catch anything. And the spirit box starts saying the word feet. And it said it feet like 3 times. And it was a different voice each time. So we were like, that's strange. We're leaning up. And again, I'm not trying to convince you. I can only tell you what I experienced and what I felt. I felt what felt like small hand or like fingertips hit the back of my foot, like my Achilles tendon or whatever the tendon is at the very bottom back of my foot. And it hit hard. I jumped. I sort of like took a step downward. We heard something metal hit the ground. Couldn't find what the metal piece was. But the interesting thing about the foot grab was not only did the spirit box mention the word feet right beforehand, but I have retinopathy in both of my, or neuropathy in both of my feet, which means I don't have very good nerve sensation in either of my feet. And I usually can't feel anything unless it's like skin breaking. And I felt this. So to me, that indicated that whatever it was using significant force to get my attention. Then Moonty, kind of looks around himself and he's like, dude, something just like a feather like brushed up against the back of my leg. And before I could even say anything, I turned back around towards where the demon house stairs were, and for lack of a better way to show it, I felt like something did this to me. Right across my eye like that. Like gentle, but I felt like the hair in my eyebrows part. And I closed my eye instinctively, and I felt pressure across my eye like that. Now, again, I'm always a skeptical person, so my first thought was, oh, it's like the wind. There's something in there that they have hanging, like a piece of string or something. I didn't see anything, and it felt like I felt like fingernails when that happened. And the weird thing out of all of it was it wasn't even scary. It was just kind of exciting. Which was really, really fun. It made it really kind of a funny experience because I expected to be scared out of my gourd, but I ended up just, laughing and being like, dude, we need to keep going and get more evidence. Which led me to my second criticism of the Haunted Museum tour. They tell you specifically do not provoke anything in there, so do not get aggressive with the ghosts or curse at them or say anything like that, because Zach again sets the stage of these things are very negative. They can attach themselves to you. You can experience some pretty scary things. And he was just, in the video that we watched, he basically said, if you do it, we'll kick you out. You can't be an asshole to the ghost. You have to be respectful. You have to just ask questions. He's like, it's not worth having something potentially very bad happen. Which did kind of bum me out just a little bit. I wasn't going to go crazy and be in there and be like, hey, Peggy, I'll show you my Chongus or something, but I did kind of wish that I could have been a little bit more like, come on, give us a sign, because I just want that evidence. Actually, I just remembered one other thing that was weird that happened. We're in the Hollywood memorabilia section in the room where they have the wreckage of James Dean's car, and we walk out the door. Now, I walk out first, and Ramuncho it goes to my right, but I swear he went to I saw something that looked like a person moving to my left and walking super fast. And it made me jump a little bit because I thought Ramuncho was running out of the room. And I felt like something had scared him and he was taking a spill. But then I turned to the right and he was sitting right there. Again, we're locked in a room that's full of reportedly haunted memorabilia for 90 minutes. In the dark. You have a flashlight. Could it have been a trick my eyes put on me? Absolutely. Could it have been a figment of my imagination? Absolutely. All I can tell you is that these are the things that I experienced when I went there. And that was basically all the evidence. The only other thing that happened that was funny was when we went to leave, we called an Uber, and the guy, I went to go pull the door handle, and the dude just took off. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if he was spooked that we were coming from the Haunted Museum and didn't want to run the risk of us in the car or something. I don't know. But anyway, I thought I would share my thoughts about it, do sort of an impromptu review here. I wish I could have given you guys some photo evidence. Unfortunately, I didn't want to risk getting kicked out. I forgot to also mention there's a room, the Shapiro room, where they have the woman who has all the weird technology equipment she used for demonic stuff. We definitely got some weird vibes in there. One of the interesting things was I was talking, she was a pianist before she got into this demonic electronics thing. So I was asking her questions about playing Chopin or playing Beethoven because as a musician, I thought I wanted to use that my knowledge to sort of see if I could get some information. And I definitely felt like we had something in that room trying to connect with us because we were getting a lot of spirit box responses when I was talking about Chopin and Beethoven and those kind of things. Again, not here to convince you, just here to tell you what happened. So that's it. I recommend it if you're into the paranormal. I know Zach is a very controversial or polarizing figure in the paranormal world that a lot of people don't respect him because he cashes in on things, and it's easy to sort of look at the museum and see how he stages some things to be like, you're just setting people up to be scared, or you're setting people up to have these, forced interactions with things, and it may not be haunted and it's bullshit. I can only tell you that I had an absolutely fantastic time. I got some evidence that I can't explain, and it's motivated me to look into doing more paranormal stuff. I need to figure out how to get this camera to do night vision. I kind of just want to start doing some more looking around for things. Maybe not even on camera for YouTube or content stuff. I've always had this weird desire to get answers for things, to understand what's out there. And I think I got an answer that I needed last night, which was a really good thing. So yeah, Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum Flashlight Tour, $200, absolutely worth it. 10 out of 10 if you're into this stuff. I would do it again. Just make sure you go to the bathroom before you go, and also just expect to have your electronics turned off. Also, I forgot to mention this, the last thing I promised. They do have tour guides in the building while you're there to just help direct you to places, because it's a little disorienting. You're like, which way's left and which room is where? And kind of a funny moment. This is what I wish I had videotaped. I came out of the one room and went into another, and the tour guide was sitting in that room, like on the floor. And I just did not expect a human being's face to be there in my flashlight field. And so I went around the corner and I like shone my flashlight right in her eyes. And I swear to God, if I jumped any higher, I would have hit the roof. I thought I was gonna die. Like, it was like there's a demon. It's sitting. It's low to the ground. It's a female face. It's like it's gonna eat my face and possess my soul. But it was just a tour guide, thank God. And she was very understanding. She was like, "Don't, it's no big deal. It happens all the time. I get blinded by the flashlights. No one expects us to be here." Very funny experience. But yeah, overall, fantastic. I guess the only downside was I didn't get a response that I wanted from Peggy. She just kept telling us to leave. And I kind of hoped the opportunity to meet Zach, to talk to him, because I just, I know some people don't. I respect what he's managed to build as an entrepreneur and a content creator. So that's it. Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum. I'll put the information on how to sign up in the chat. Next time you're out in Vegas and you want to experience something that's very unique and a chance to visit the other side, I highly recommend it. So I guess this is my inaugural Donk Talks, and this is fun. So I'm going to do one about TwitchCon later, but I'll change my shirt so I don't look so like I'm running all these out at one time. So anyway, thanks. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you really enjoy this kind of stuff, make sure you put subscribe and likes on my content, and check me out on my socials at Doggy Sean Jr. I will catch you later. Thanks. Bye.